Nice box cherry, nice box terry. So I guess we'll start here. This is my newest collection, all the weird balls. Super rare toy line. Super gross, really a knockoff line completely. Like there's stuff that is kind of like muscle figures. There's stuff that's kind of like the Nutty Mads from like the 60s. These are obviously ripoffs of Madballs, but really hard to find this kind of stuff. So kind of lucked into this collection. Down below that, we have a bunch of the Madballs. All of Series 1, all carded. All of Series 2, all carded. And then the tough stuff about Madballs would definitely be the merchandise, like the sunglasses, the pop-ups, the soap. It's like the most expensive soap you'll find. Really stupid.
What are we talking?
I think this torn up card one here was like $50 for a 2-pack of soap. So those would be a lot more, obviously, because they're nice. But luckily that's all the soap they make. So then obviously that opens the door for a lot of the knockoff stuff, which was just kind of capitalizing on the Madball trend, like crazy bouncers, horror balls, goops, which are kind of like frisbees, just like rubbery frisbees with weird gross faces on them. So this would be the beginning right here. I think it's 85. Yep, 1985. Toy, which was the toy division from American Greetings, the card company. So it's really weird how like all of this stuff kind of originated from a greeting card company. Don't really see that anymore.
Yeah.
But they also did stuff like Strawberry Shortcake, My Pet Monster, stuff like that, which I also love. Not really the Strawberry Shortcake, but the My Pet Monster.
But the Strawberry Shortcake, that all smelled. That was fun.
Mm-hmm. I do like it. Like I have some prototype art from Strawberry Shortcake, which is kind of cool. I kind of feel like I want to use this wallet right here because it's not in the package, but it's kind of loud. Over here, just a lot of randomness that I like. A lot of my stuff is just doesn't necessarily belong together. It's just stuff that I like and want to display. I mean, like obviously this is more Madball stuff. These are all the head poppers. It's kind of brave to have all their heads installed on them because the clips break so easily. I've actually broken quite a few head poppers in my time, but I like the way they look displayed like that. And then down here, just very random. Got the rare guys from the California Raisins, a random Muscle Mutt, a Care Bears prototype, also from Toy. Wonder Bread He-Man. He will always be Wonder Bread to me. You know, some people err towards the what's the other word they call him? Savage He-Man. I don't like it as well. Up top, it's just some pop culture music dolls. Vanilla Ice, Michael Jackson, MC Hammer. Of course, I love Inspector Gadget. Love Mad Magazine. I don't do a lot of video game stuff, but I do like some of the licensed Nintendo stuff. So I don't collect video games at all, except for one video game in my whole collection. It's Mike Tyson's Punch-Out. Probably the only sports item in my collection too. I loved that game as a kid. I was obsessed with that game. So for some reason, I got it in my head that I wanted a complete copy of Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, and actually built this one piece at a time. So it's got the letter, it's got the manual, it's got the game, it's got a very nice box, but I bought every single piece separately. And then this card, I think is kind of considered his rookie card, maybe. And of course, it's being guarded by the Muscle Mutts.
Yeah, I was noticing that.
Another line I kind of got obsessed with for a while.
That's one I've not heard of or seen until watching your videos.
I used to think it was hard to find. It kind of became not hard to find. It just kind of became expensive. Now I think the prices are kind of coming down on them. They're not blowing up to like $1,000 loose anymore. Now they're more like $500 to $700 loose. But that's all 4 of those. Plus there's like 3 other figures that are almost impossible. There's a guy who's like a dog catcher and 2 cats, which I'll probably never ever see those. I've seen pictures of them, so they exist. Pee-wee's Playhouse was just super nostalgic for me. Loved it on Saturday mornings. All the movies, Big Top Pee-wee, Pee-wee's Big Adventure. But found a lot of this over time. The centerpiece would definitely be the unopened Playhouse. That was pretty hard to track down. See them quite often with bad boxes or just in different pieces, but it was really important to actually score the unopened Playhouse. This is probably one of the coolest pieces. This is something that Paul Rubens, actually before he was known as Pee-Wee Herman, like he was Pee-Wee Herman, but he didn't have a show. He carried this in his pocket and like handed it out to people with a piece of candy, which is kind of funny. But I got this from a guy who actually met him, and Paul Rubens handed him this little card right here. So it's probably my favorite piece. This is kind of cool too. This wasn't actually produced. I think someone just made some of these years and years ago. It's the Pez dispenser. Should have been produced though, because it's pretty cool.
Oh, that's just like a custom, I guess?
Yeah, but like from a long time ago, like 10, 15 years maybe.
Huh.
But I thought that was pretty neat. Uh-oh. And Billy's falling. Nice box cherry, nice box Terry. These are hard to find without the cloth being all messed up, so took a while to track that one down. I couldn't fit everything over there, so these are all the carded action figures from that original Matchbox line. I think I'm missing 2 still, but they don't display very well because if you spread them all out, they take up several shelves, so kind of got them all hidden in a cubby there. But I like the bigger stuff better anyway. NECA actually like 20 years ago redid these, and they look exactly the same. And I got some one time, didn't realize they were NECA until like a month later. Like I noticed like NECA was in the corner, otherwise identical.
Oh wow,
which is kind of weird. I think I don't like it. I don't like copies. ShowBiz Pizza. This was a collection a long time in the making. ShowBiz Pizza was kind of like the competitor to Chuck E. Cheese, and then things kind of happened. There's like a whole story with it, but they kind of merged, and then Chuck E. Cheese kind of won. But we had ShowBiz Pizza here in town, so this is the place that I always went. Weird animatronics, bands, pizza, video games, like a play place. But a lot of this stuff would have been like the merch that you would have traded your tickets for, like the little cards, little cups, just the watch. That would have been a picture that was on your table. The plush are probably the coolest part of that whole line. That's the whole set right there, except for Billy Bob is missing a guitar accessory, and Beach Bear in the back is missing a, like a lei necklace. Otherwise, super tricky to track down that whole set there. Got things like records, hats, just little figures, cups. That's a cup from like a birthday party. But a lot of this stuff has gotten super tricky to track down because it was like throwaway stuff, basically. My kids now will sometimes have a birthday party at Chuck E. Cheese, and it's not very good. Like there's no animatronics. It's a guy walks around once a half hour in a costume. So I could see that it was probably better back in the 80s, even 90s, but nothing like it really exists now for sure. This is a cool piece too. This is a prototype of something that never got produced. Earl was a puppet that would have been on Rolf, which they don't have a plush of, but it was like his puppet. So that's a prototype of the puppet that was going to go on his hand. This is kind of a hodgepodge of stuff, just different things on each shelf. The top shelf, I love skeleton action figures. I honestly don't collect a lot of action figures. Don't really know why. It's just, I've never been a fan of the shelves just full of action figures. It just doesn't excite me for some reason, but I love skeleton action figures. So every time I find a skeleton, I pop it in here. So there's definitely some hard to find pieces, and there's some that aren't that big of a deal. But like Death Lore right there from the Speckletron line. Speckletron was kind of like a Motu knockoff line, except their torsos were like full of liquid and glitter, which is very, very bizarre. But they don't show it very often, and that's probably the hardest one to find in the entire line. Doesn't have liquid anymore. It's all leaked out at one point or another, but just a weird, cool purple skeleton.
No, was the liquid colorful, or
the liquid was like just like your standard, I don't know, saline or something like that.
Okay.
But it's got all that glitter in its chest. Like, here's one that's a little more clear, so you can see like all the glitter inside there. But then that would have been filled with liquid too, like a snow globe almost.
Interesting.
Very, very bizarre line. Skullman, made by Remco. There's a complete one, and that one is missing his accessories. But Skullman's probably my favorite action figure. I just think he looks really, really cool. I love the red cape. I love the colors on it. Those pirates back there are Remco Pirates of the Galaxies. So there was like a line of pirates, like 4 or 5 pirates, plus the 2 skeletons, ribs and crossbones. So those are kind of hard to track down with their accessories. We got the Jewel Thief from Conan there in the back, or Conan there in the back. Conan was a whole line made by Remco, but the only one I care about having is the Jewel Thief. It's a weird translucent red skeleton. Skull Force, 1 carded, 1 not, 1 red variant, 1 green variant. Got an extra skull face head popper from Madballs, because he kind of fits in there. That's that little guy is something called Airgum Boys, I think. I don't know a lot about that line. Kind of looks like a Imagine Next or Fisher Price or something, but I think they're from South America. That's some weird transforming robot skull, like Robo something, but kind of hard to track down. I don't know a lot about it. I think they made like a Frankenstein head too, which I would like to find that one. The Wandering Skeleton from the 60s, I think. It's a little candy dispenser. And I think that's just a little skeleton finger puppet from maybe South America. Down below that, these are kind of just random monstery type things. Got the Remco mummy sealed in the box. Box isn't great, but kind of hard to track down, especially with the ring. If you can see the ring back there with him. It's the King Kong squirt gun made by Ahai. Pretty tricky piece. Got the miniature Marx Garlou with his pendant right there. Just got to find something to tie the pendant on. Cereal premiums, I think from Post Cereal, a little glow in the dark monster bus. Love everything Gremlins. I didn't think there was a whole lot of Gremlin stuff out there as far as vintage goes, but I think I'm about to bust out of this case because I just keep finding a piece here or there. But we have like the Shrinky Dinks, got the Topps candy dispensers, card sets from both movies, and then there's the Mexican releases back there. Got one of those on card. This is probably the coolest piece, would be the large stripe. And then it finishes off down here with some Freddy Krueger stuff. I just love everything Freddy Krueger. They made some kind of bizarre official stuff, and then of course there's like some knockoff stuff, like that figure right there isn't actually Freddy Krueger, but it's definitely like a knockoff of Freddy Krueger. Over here we have Boglins, which is another, I guess you call it a gross out line that I love, from the 1980s, created by Tim Clark, who is still putting out Boglins. In fact, this is a hand-poured Tim Clark Boglin that I think he made and sold on Instagram in like 2017. So that's my only modern Boglin, but I thought it was cool because he actually made it. A lot of these things were only released in Europe, but like these came in like these tiny eggs. But there were 5 big main Boglins. The original 3 right here, and then the 2 Halloween ones. So now there's a whole bunch because like they're still making them, but that's all I care about are the old ones. Got the mini Boglins over here which are hard to display, and there's tons of them. So I just kind of pick those up whenever I see them. There's more down there. I got the smaller sized ones, and they came in boxes like that. These are some pretty tough ones. These are kind of like blurt ballish, where like the things pop out of them if you push them real hard, like his eyeball pops out, or it's supposed to. It used to. Up top, it's got my big dolls that I like. Pee-Wee used to be up there till I kind of made the Pee-Wee shelf, but got the Talking Freddy, got the Ernest, the Beetlejuice, the Jason. There's a couple more out there from the 80s and 90s, like the Urkel and stuff like that. I don't really care about getting that one, but those are the four that I was always after, so got all those. Up here, got the giant Mark's Great Garloo. This one does work. He is complete except for the battery compartment holder. That's just kind of a prestige piece. No real connection to it, just like, I should have a Great Garloo. And there was one at a toy show. Actually, my toy show. Got this cool little piece of My Pet Monster prototype art that was rescued from the Amtoy warehouse. I think James Groman looked at this and said that that was his work. So it's not signed anywhere, but that is an early representation from James Groman, which is pretty cool. Got some crazy balls next to that to fill up some space. Of course, got the other Spectratron. This is a prototype first shot newer Madball. So probably the only actual modern Madball in my collection, just because it's unusual, because his face is usually colored like an eyeball. So don't know a lot about it, but it's kind of neat. Some random flash art that I found at a toy show. Pretty rare little Casio robot clock from the 80s. Just kind of think that's neat. Unusual. Of course, we got the Home Blown Kevin up there. I do like that piece. Loose Madballs and Madball knockoffs. Got them all up in these cases. I think every slot is filled, but there's more than one of some of them. So there's room to take stuff out and put ones that I don't have, because Madball knockoffs are a never-ending thing. And I'm honestly not good about knowing which ones are the super rare ones. I don't know how to really tell the difference. I just know that I like them. Like I think some of these up here are pretty rare. I can't remember what they're called. But then there's a lot of similar molds too. Like all these guys are the same mold, but they're just different colors. All those guys there are the same mold, different colors. Devil guys, but one's kind of colored like a person, one's colored like a devil. These are slightly different. And these are actual Madballs up here. So we got like Series 1 at the top, and then a couple Series 2, Series 2, Series 2, Extra Series 2, Series 1. I'm actually still missing one Series 1 loose. Down on this shelf, a lot of these are harder to find kind of Madballs and Madball knockoff pieces. Super Balls. These are like the big 3 sports balls that Madballs release: the basketball, the soccer ball, and the football. I got multiples of both of these, but only one of Goal Eater. So he's definitely the tricky one to track down. The bats, those are knockoffs from the 80s, but they've gotten pretty sought after. There was several of them. I have some kind of placed along the room, but these are just filling up space here to kind of make the display look cooler. But just, I think they were called monster bats. This is a super hard to find piece from the Madballs line. Just weird merchandise stuff. I think there was maybe 3 of these. I'll probably never find the other 2, but that's just something that you don't see very often. It's kind of like a top that you pull the zip cord. It goes rolling, I guess. I'll never know because I'm not going to open it. This one's also tricky because it's kind of a knockoff line, but this company, Creepy Bods, they made bodies for Madballs. So basically you would buy these to open up and put a Madball head on top of it. So very, very unusual, and kind of stands out in the knockoff world because it's not like everything else. These are called breath blasters. When these first came out, inside stunk. So like if you pushed it, it would like blow some like nasty smelling stuff in your face, which I think is kind of funny. But they don't smell like much anymore. I think there's 2 more of these that I need, but they don't pop up very often. This one's probably my favorite though, like the Grim Reaper. I just like that one. These are official Madballs. This was like a little candy dispenser. You would put your little, like your gumball would pop out there, and then the sprinkler, which I've never seen another one of those 2 in person. I think most of this is horror or horror adjacent. Those are just kind of pulled out for display because I think they look cool. Some of them are hard to find, some of them aren't really, but they got some classics like Return of the Living Dead, Monster Squad, Video Dead's pretty cool. These are my spare copies of Madballs VHS. Elvira. I always buy Elvira when I see it. So that's really weird. This one, I bought at a show, like a VHS show, and it's like, it changed its name to The Day After Halloween just to capitalize on Halloween. It's got nothing to do with like horror or like Halloween or anything. It's like some like Australian art film, but they just wanted it to seem like it was going to be like the next Halloween. World of Wonder germs. Each one came in a test tube. It was called something. So like this little gross little PVC figure in there, and it kind of told you what it was. Like this is commonly known as a yawn. That's not very gross. Like this one here is belly button lint. So there were 12. Is it 12? Yeah, 12 of those. So each one came in a test tube with a lab report. So that's just the whole set of 12. It's not that impressive, just kind of cool. These are the foreign cards of a line called Body Wars, which were kind of like Gross Out Mighty Max. Like you got like your eyeball, your skull, is that a heart? I think it's a heart. And then like some of your other organs, but like they kind of open up and it's like a play set with missiles and germs and bacteria and stuff like that. And then down here are the blurt balls, which were kind of like the Madball knockoffs that had stuff that shot out of their mouths. These are, I think, Italian cards. And then these are like the US releases, but there's still plenty more of those to track down. But like these cards, like they're so big and obnoxious, it's really, really hard to display. And like they're never very nice because they're just kind of cheap and flimsy. But I love them. This is some of the space that I cleared out, so there's space to grow into. But this is kind of the excess Madball stuff. Some of the hard to find licensed stuff like the backpack, a dartboard. This is like a play pack. This is the poster that came with the roller cycle. We got some pencil top erasers, which are extremely heavy. You wouldn't think that. Actually, here's it's like a really heavy eraser that would just make writing very hard, I think. A couple of the carded head poppers. These are the squirt balls, like they squirt water. And just like some random stuff. The string blasters, knee pads for your skateboard, cups and bowls for your cereal. So just kind of ran out of room to put the stuff somewhere else. I'm trying to collect the entire glow-in-the-dark Remco Mini Monster line. So this is 5 of the 6. Creature's probably my favorite, that or the Wolfman. This is the Monster. It's like a vending shell, like little quarter machines would have gone inside here. And like that's just like the shell on the outside, but it's all about the shell. And this is a pretty nice one. So I needed something to do with it. So I kind of stuck some Madball stuff in there. These are the smaller bats right here, like the knockoff bats. This is just like some random stuff that you never see, like gloves, which I don't know if I'll ever see another pair of Madballs gloves, but thought they were kind of neat. So I just like the way this display looks. I was pretty proud of this one. Up here, I'm starting to put some random monster stuff. This is a new piece that I just picked up the other day. It's a King Kong Colorforms playset from 1976. It's never been used. So like all the color forms are still on there, which I thought that was pretty neat, honestly. These are more weird balls. These are the complete set of carded collectibles, which were like the gross out nutty mad figures, kind of. But these are special because they're like all mint condition. Like you don't see them very often carded. You definitely don't see them like without smashed bubbles, without messed up cards. So I was really lucky getting this set right here. And then this is another line that Weird Ball did, kind of like wrestlers, but kind of like gross wrestlers. Bunch of weird green stuff coming out of his face. I think there's still 3 more of these to find carded as well. These are crazy balls. I think there's 12 of these, so I only have half. There's a bunch of these loose over there as well. But I think if I have it loose, I also have it carded. And then the Weird Ball backpacks back or down here. There's 2 more of those to track down as well. So I don't collect a lot of comics. This is my entire comic collection. I've bought thousands of comics, and I kind of really like had to choose what I wanted to collect. So I kind of got it broken down by category. There's a Golden Age right here. Over here is Keys. Like this is the first cameo of Wolverine. Over here we have horror magazines. Down here I'm trying to get the full run of TMNT Adventures. There's 72 issues from the main line. I think I'm missing 3, but I have the major keys, so it's like not hard to finish this at all. I try to pick up the original run of TMNT when I see it. I have some reprintings of issue 1, but they're in bad shape. And then I have, I think this is 2. No, that's 3. So I think I have 2 number 1s of different different printings. I got a really bad shape number 3. This one is, that's number 2. So it's in bad shape too. Then after that, they're not quite as exciting. Shoot, that's not one of them either. Oh, this is a mess. And then these are the Madball comics. And then these are like press kits and just like weird pieces of paperwork, and then cards down here. So I try to keep all the paper goods that I collect in one little area right here. My favorite's probably the Golden Age stuff though. Like this is a very, very early Wonder Woman from like 1940 something. It's like Sensation Comics number 3, which is the 4th appearance of Wonder Woman. And then like the stuff that I put in the video background, it's got to be like a pretty special piece to me. So there's still some empty spots because things kind of alternate, and I need to find some stuff to fill those spots. But I don't like to just haphazardly put stuff back here. So probably my favorite piece in the entire collection would be this right here. This is the Galoob Inspector Gadget doll. This is a toy I had when I was 3, and I had been looking for it for years, like a really nice version. So I finally found it at a flea market last year. So that was pretty exciting. Just a really awesome toy with like lots of little extras, and I thought it was cool, especially in a good box like that. Got the carded Muscle Mutt, some of the boxed Madballs pieces. Got the Shogun Godzilla. This one I kind of built in pieces. I bought him from somebody and then had to track down this, which was on a broken one. So I bought the broken one. So that was kind of a put together over time. Mad Scientist stuff is another kind of nostalgic line for me. Got the boxed Rude Ralph. I don't do a lot with cars or vehicles, but these are the ones that I really like the boxed Knight 2000 car. I really like the A-Team stuff. I got Mr. T down here, which is just another doll I really liked. Got the one of a kind slobulous giant size head that I bought at Horror Hound, I think, last year. Really cool. Max Headroom here at the top next to my Lost Boys poster, which is a work in progress. I've gotten it signed by 2 people so far, Jason Patrick and Alex Winter. I really want to get it signed by Kiefer Sutherland. He does go to cons sometimes, so I don't normally pay to meet people, but I will pay to meet the entire Lost Boys cast. Carded Sunman, which I think is probably the coolest Motu adjacent line there is. Madballs Mass. Got a boxed Freaky String Blaster from Madballs. Some of my Muscles collection. I do have, where is it? I do have some of the harder to find muscle figures as well. Satan Cross. It's like a silly $150 PVC right there. But found him at a flea market actually. But he doesn't display very well with this other stuff. And then of course, it's always October in here with the Stephen King calendar from 1985, I think. I think it's 1985.